What is going on with y'all, man? It's your boy Blue Jay Tay. Hopefully everything lined up right. I am back again with another mental health check-in. I think this episode probably 12 now. Episode 12, I think so. But now the reason why I wanted to get on here today, man, I wanted to speak to y'all about why direction is more important than speed. I'm gonna let a couple people get in. Ain't nobody in here right now, but other people join. All right, we're gonna get it started. But so to start things off, man, I'd probably say roughly about a week ago, I was on a phone call with one of my closest friends, and we were talking about life and pretty much things that we wanted to do. And what prompted me to even get on here and make this live for y'all today is because I wanted to touch up on why direction is more important than speed. But anyways, I was on a phone call with my friend not too long ago, and we were just talking about life. And one thing that he said to me is, because he know that I like to move at a very progressive rate. Whenever I get in a position where I have my mind set on something, I always like to dial in. And sometimes I may move too fast for my own good. But my friend had mentioned why it's very important for us to just slow things down sometimes and to focus on that sense of direction rather than the speed. Because one thing that we don't realize in life is that speed doesn't always equal quality. Just because you're moving fast does not mean that you're going to produce good quality work. And hold on, let me read this comment right quick. But Dr. Peter Venkman, I think that's how you pronounce it. My fault, bro, if I ain't pronounce it right. But he said, howdy, just wanted to say that your videos are very good. They mean a lot to me and to everyone else. Know that you're very appreciated. I appreciate that a lot, man. You know what I mean? It means a lot to me, especially being a small content creator. Each and every last one of y'all definitely matters. Whenever I drop a video, y'all support, like, and comment. I read each and every comment, respond to everyone. So I truly do appreciate that. It means the world to me, for real, because y'all only see the videos. Nobody sees what goes on when I'm sitting in my room thinking about things and trying to put stuff together for y'all. So that means a lot to me, man. It means a lot to me. But I'm very blessed and I'm very thankful for each and every last one of y'all that's been rocking with me since the jump. I started with probably 60 subscribers on this channel. And ever since then, it's been a little over a year. I've just been grinding and just pushing, man. But, the reason why I wanted to get on this live today, I wanted to talk to y'all about why it's super important to focus on direction rather than speed. I feel like oftentimes in life, we could put ourselves in a position where we're just so dialed in on certain things. Everybody is just so locked in on what it is that they want out of life, but they don't take the time to take a step back and ask themselves, am I even headed in the right direction? Because direction is going to shift everything. It's going to shift your perspective. It's going to shift your entire thought process on what it is that you have going on. And T-Rex, Blake Jr., what's up? What's going on? How everybody feeling? How everybody doing, man? How y'all feeling? But yeah, once again, man, I just feel like it's so important to just focus on that sense of direction, because that's what gives you clarity. Direction is the one thing that's going to give you any sense of clarity. If you ever find yourself confused on the things that you're pursuing in life, not necessarily knowing where to go, ask yourself, do I have clarity? And if you don't, then you're probably not headed in the right direction, because what's for you isn't going to confuse you. The things that's meant to occur in your life are going to bring you peace. They're going to make you feel fulfilled. I don't know how to pronounce that. Pokey neck cut. I don't even know. But what's going on, man? What's going on? How everybody feeling? Everybody doing all right? But yeah, man, if you in here right now, go ahead and drop a like on this so we can push it out to more people. Man, I appreciate y'all so much, man. I say this each and every live. Y'all like my family. Y'all like my brothers from another mother, cousins, sisters. Man, I appreciate every last one of y'all, man. But anyways, if y'all got any questions or anything that y'all want to chop it up about, go ahead and drop it in the comments. You know, I can give my viewpoints and opinions. This is like a safe space for everybody to just speak on what they may have been, you know, dealing with the previous week or anything that's on their mind that they want to touch bases on. And, you know, each and every last one of us are the same. So, for sure. But yeah, like I was mentioning before, I was on the phone with my homeboy not too long ago. And it just made me realize how far I've came in a sense of just always progressively attacking life. But at some point, it's very important for us to just take a step back and just ask ourselves, are we headed in the right direction? And I feel like one thing that throws so many people off, because you can dedicate time, you can dedicate energy, and then you can realize that it seems as if it's almost for nothing, because you may have a career change or you just may not necessarily be passionate about the things that you're pursuing. But I just wanted to let you know that if that is the case with you, that you just got to understand that the lessons that you behind sacrifice a certain time are always going to be worth it. It's always going to be worth it. I can't even tell you how many times I thought I had my mind made up about life, or I thought I had my mind made up about certain things that I wanted to do, and it just all changes, man. When the blessings start to come in, your life start to shift, you know, your friend groups start to change, you just realize that everything around you starts to change. I'm gonna just call you Pokey. But Pokey said doing my homework is getting hard to stay locked in. Yeah, that's a part of the process. You got to do your homework, but one thing I know for sure is that it's going to be worth it. The fact that you may not feel like it or you may not want to, you're just building up that form of resistance in terms of, you know, holding yourself accountable, knowing that it's just something that needs to get done, regardless of how you feel. And that's just very important, something to just take in life. Oftentimes, I don't want to say it doesn't matter how you feel, but our emotions change so much in the way that we feel about certain things that it would be crazy for us to act on them. It would be almost insane for us to just be like, okay, I don't feel like doing this. Let me actually not doing it, knowing that it's something that I should do, considering how quick they change. But that was also another big thing for me too. You know, growing up, I had to learn how to not be as emotion-based driven when it came to making decisions for my life. Because no matter who you are, you're going to have to be able to sit with the decisions that you make, whether they're bad and good. You're going to have to be able to sit with those decisions. And, you know, it's a lot of people right now that probably wouldn't feel too comfortable with that, man. Growth Journey said, how are you? I'm doing good, man. You know me, I'm blessed. I'm getting ready to make a big change in a couple of weeks. Probably fin to put myself in a position to really just elevate and just grow. For y'all that's been around, I'm doing something similar to when I moved to Houston. I'm not actually moving to Houston, but I'm doing something similar to that, where I put myself in a position to really just lock back in, get back to the basics. Get back to the basics, man. Pookie, he said, yeah, I just put it off. Yeah, procrastination. It happens. It happens to all of us. The important thing is that you're getting it done. So that's really all that matters. But like I was mentioning earlier, you know, I was talking about this sense of direction and how important it is. But One thing that I learned is that speed without direction is like a car with no GPS. Just think about that. Speed without direction is like a car with no GPS. Then you'll be prompted to ask yourself, like, where am I actually going? Where am I headed with this? Because you may be moving fast. And the one thing about moving fast is that it's impressive. It is. A lot of people are going to look at you and think like, how are they getting so much done? But you don't even have a clear sight on where you're headed. And that's going to be a problem. That is always going to be a problem. And it just took me so long, in life for me to just learn that. It took me a very time to learn that, fast is not always forward. Just because you're moving fast does not mean that you're moving forward. You may lose friends, you may lose all type of stuff, but you just got to slow it down. Pokey, he said, what can I do to motivate myself? Watch my videos. There's tons of motivation in there. And also, like I was saying, you just have to have a sense of direction as well. You got to know what it is that you want out of life. I'm pretty sure that you're not doing that homework for nothing. You probably want a degree. You may want to graduate, whatever the case may be. It's bigger than the entire concept of I'm just here stuck being forced to do certain things. And you always have to think about that. When I was in school and I was getting my degree and stuff like that, it was never about that very moment. It was always about me thinking ahead, understanding that I was going to benefit from this one way or another, whether I felt like it or not. You're going to get rewarded for all that hard work that you put in, and that's something that has to motivate you. That's something that is definitely going to motivate you. It's going to pay off. Think about the reasons why we do anything, the reasons why people wake up and go to work in the morning. It probably isn't because they just genuinely like to get up out of their bed and go to work. It's probably because they know that they have a guaranteed paycheck coming at the end of the week that they need and they can utilize to take care of their business. For the majority of us, it's about the end goal. It's not about the actual, moment itself that we may not be fond of. In your case, it's doing homework. Some people's case is getting up out of bed and going to work. It's just building, man. That's the way that life works. You have to build. You got to work towards something at all times. At all times, man. My biggest thing was just learning that this one thing that I want everybody to listen to. I know it's probably only like two of you guys in here right now, but one thing to pay close attention to is the fact that you are not being forced to do anything that you're doing at this very moment. Just take a second to think about this. Nobody is forcing you to get up and go to work. Nobody is forcing you to go to school. Nobody is forcing you to do things that you're probably spending your time doing on a daily basis. So why is it that we treat it like it's a consequence? Because it's not. You are very much so blessed, and the work that you're putting in, you're going to be rewarded for it. My life completely changed when I stopped treating everything that I was making conscious decisions to do as a consequence, because it's just not a consequence. The fact that you're even able to work towards building yourself, a career, whether it's school or whatever the case may be, is definitely a blessing. I was speaking with my friend about this not too long ago because he had a job that he used to just not be fond of going into. And we had to sit down and talk about it. And I told him, like, that you're choosing to go to work, right? You know that there's some people that have 4 and 5 kids that kind of have to go. And there's no question about it. But you're somebody that makes a conscious decision to get up and do those things. So why is it that you're upset about it? Why is it that it's something that, that makes you uncomfortable? Just trust the process, see it through, and be happy that you're even able to do those things. Some people may not have a job. And in this case, Pookie, some people may not even be trying to become a contractor. They probably can't do it. No matter what career field that you're in, you are going to struggle at some point building and working towards something. Easy come, easy go. That's the way that I judge my entire life. I personally, I'm not fond of things that come easily. I believe that everything should be earned. That's just the way that I was raised. That's how I feel. And if it comes easily, then I'm prompted to believe that it's also going to go away easy. It's not going to be worthwhile. Is this always the case? Of course not. But it definitely is the case in a lot of scenarios, man. But that's why I feel like it's just important. We all got to have that sense of direction because that's what gives you purpose. You know, I wake up each and every day and I know what direction that I'm headed in. And the key thing to keep in mind is that just because you have a sense of what direction that you're headed in, it does not mean that there's not going to be bumps in the road. It doesn't mean that you aren't going to have times where you're confused or you're broken or you don't know what to do. No, it happens to all of us. This is just a part of your journey, helping you mold yourself into the person that you need to be. But that's just a part of the process, man. You have to be willing to endure those bumps in the journey. Or those, not those bumps in the journey, but those bumps in the road. But that direction definitely does give you purpose. Direction gives you that purpose that you need, man. Strawberry polka dot. What's going on? See, you caught this one. But yeah, now we were just speaking on why it was just important to just have a sense of direction in and just understanding why direction is more valuable than speed. You know, I'm pretty sure for a lot of us, we get put into positions where we may be doing things at a progressive rate. But just because you're doing things fast doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get something out of it. Just because you're getting work done, it does not mean that it's going to benefit you. I've hit so many road bumps in my life and roadblocks to the point where I had to completely change the course of things just because my direction was off. If your direction isn't right, it's not going to align with your purpose. When you have purpose, more than likely you may have a sense of passion for the things that you're doing. And if those things aren't mutually aligned, it is not going to last. No matter who you are, no matter how much money you make, it is not going to last if your purpose is not aligned with your passions. He said, man, you are great. I will stop following you in your lives. Thank you, man. I have to go to bed and get ready for school. Hey, good luck, man, being a contractor. Keep grinding, keep working. You already know. Keep handling your business, man. It's definitely going to be worth it, and I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you stayed up and did what you needed to do, man. I appreciate the support and love very much. Like I say, each and every live. Thank you. You have a blessed night's sleep, man. I appreciate you a lot. Sure. And one thing that I wanted to touch up on too is how speed can be deceptive. And I just feel like this form of hustle culture, it really does promote speed, but it's not always meaning. Just because you're going fast doesn't necessarily even mean that there's purpose behind that speed. Going fast in the wrong direction, it only takes you further than your goals, or it only takes you further from your goals. I had to learn that the very, very hard way. For a lot of y'all that's been watching me, I was somebody fresh out of high school. I wanted to play basketball. You know, I'm 5'11", so you can do the math right there. It probably was not going to happen, you know, unless you're just super great. But I was just moving at a very progressive rate, not necessarily understanding that, you know, you just got to take into account everything surrounding that career field that you're going to be in. But just because you're moving does not always mean that you're making progress. Movement does not always mean that you're making progress. I've been like that my entire life. Always just kind of trying to get things done. Trying to go at a progressive rate, trying to be fast, trying to be productive. You got to have that sense of passion. You got to have that sense of purpose. The reason why I'm even able to wake up and do this for y'all on a daily basis is because I have a clear sense of direction. There's no confusion in what it is that I want and the purpose that I want to serve with my life. That's why. And purpose is one of the only things that will make it worthwhile. When you don't have that sense of passion, it's going to be much easier for you to give up on the things that you're doing. Even like, I don't even know how to say the name, like Pokeneck was talking about. The reason why he's up right now doing his homework at like 11 or 12 a.m., wherever he's at, was simply because he had that sense of direction and he know where he wanted to be. It's not always going to feel good. It's not always going to feel like something that you want to do. That's just something you got to just be able to see through. There's plenty of times where I don't feel like doing things. But when you know what you have to get done, then feelings go completely out the window. If it was up to our feelings, take the time, y'all, right now. Take the time to think, if it was up to how you felt, where would you be if you acted strictly off your feelings? If you acted off your moods and random things that come up in your body? For the majority of us, we'd probably be somewhere broken and tore down, because you're not supposed to act off your feelings at all. But long-term wins, they come from the right direction. It's small, consistent steps that we need to be focused on. Taking those small steps in the right direction. And I don't know if y'all heard of Warren Buffett, but he said that you can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. And that quote is crazy. Like, you cannot, like, it just, I know y'all heard it. I don't even want to repeat it because I don't know if they would flag me for that, because it kind of sounds crazy, but it's so true. We have to focus more on intention than anything. But above all, man, that sense of direction really does determine your destination. Like, I feel like I'm so blessed to the point where it doesn't necessarily matter what decision that I make in my life. Like, my direction and my morals and things like that have always been aligned as far as the decisions that I was making on a daily basis. So, like, I'm so blessed to the point where I know that even if I take the wrong step, if that makes sense, that my natural ability to get realigned, and of course, you know, God blessing me, that I won't get too far off. And I just feel like, you know, a lot of people don't realize how blessed they are. A lot of people don't realize how favored they truly are. And I just made a video on this not too long ago. I'm not gonna drop it. You guys will probably see it drop in a couple of days, but um if there's anything that y'all would want to see from me in my videos, I actually just got a new camera, so I'm kind of like testing it out. It may look slightly different from my old videos, but if there's anything that y'all want to see, you already know. Comment any type of video, any specific topics. Y'all can always comment, and I'll do my best to try to, you know, make that happen for y'all. But the point of these mental health check-ins is to really just touch bases on the people that support me and that show love to me on a daily basis or consistently, and for me to show my sense of gratitude and let y'all know that, you know, I really am thankful. You know, you'd be surprised how many people don't have somebody to go to and be able to speak freely and openly. Because I was that person. You know, there was times growing up, you know, in my household, I didn't necessarily have a dad or somebody that I felt like I can look up to go to vent to. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is definitely a good and safe space for things like that. And another reason why I also like these lives too is just because it's just so open and it's just so free. When I do my videos, I obviously chop pieces down and stuff like that. So it's just different. It's just a different vibe when I'm able to go on here and do lives and just, speak freely. But I came a long way. I came a very long way. And it all just boiled down to me just making sure I had a clear sense of direction. Not having all the pieces figured out, not always feeling like I had the answers, but just standing firm on where it is that I believe that I should be. You can never lose sight of that because there's so many different things that's going to happen in life. I've seen it happen to people where they may have kids, they may get married, and these things aren't problems, but it's definitely something that you have to make adjustments, to. But or they lose family members, and all of these things can impact you mentally in some way, shape, or form. I've seen people give up what it is that they wanted to do with themselves because they may have had children. And to me, this should just give you more of a reason to keep going. And, not everybody obviously is in a position like this. But I say that to say that it doesn't necessarily matter what may happen in your life. You cannot lose sight of the things that truly mean something to you. The things that truly do keep you, grounded. You can't lose sight of those things. And I just made a video on this. I think I dropped it today actually on how your attention is your most valuable currency. And you believe it or not, it's very true. Where you put your attention is ultimately going to have a direct impact on your life. And this is a hard pill to swallow for some people because I used to be the type of person that believed that I can kind of be on one side and then also be on the other. I may be trying to work to being more spiritually aligned and to chase my purpose in that aspect, but I'm still hanging around people that may be in the streets or may not be living right, and it just doesn't add up. You really do have to make sure that your eyes are set forth on what it is that you truly want out of your life. They say the eyes are the gateway to the soul. And, it was so strict for me at one point where I literally was very conscious and aware that I could not allow myself to see certain things. Anything that I knew would trigger me or would put me in a position to even think about things that I shouldn't be thinking about, I didn't allow myself to view it physically with my eyes at all because I understood how much of an impact that would have on my life. Like when I was going through my whole lustful stage and not really being able to control myself, that was very important for me to, take the time to control and be very conscious of. I couldn't be going out to the club every weekend because I knew that I was in a vulnerable state. I knew that I was weak. I wasn't strong enough to withhold those urges. And it's all just about being conscious of your flaws, of your weaknesses, of things that may trigger you, and then just moving in the completely opposite direction. Once again, having that sense of direction, knowing what it is and where it is that you want to go and where you want to end up. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm somebody that believes in marriage. I'm somebody that really does want to have a family and do everything the traditional way in terms of, what I want for my future. Wife, kids, nice house, some land, stuff like that. That sounds cool to me, man. I never been one of those dudes that just believed in just running the streets forever and just doing whatever. It's not really my thing. If that's you though, then that's you. I don't know what other people been through, but you know, I was raised a majority of my time by my grandma. So if any of y'all know how grandmas are, then you'd understand exactly what I mean by that. I don't have to get into too much detail, but most definitely. But yeah, the purpose of this live, man, I really just wanted to touch bases on the sense of direction. And I hope that each and every last one of y'all are focused and locked in on what it is that you want out of life. And just be sure that you have that sense of passion for the things that you're pursuing. And if you aren't, then now's the time to really start rethinking where you're spending your time and your energy, because it's never too late to make a career change. I know that some people may believe and think that it is, but I've even seen my mom do this. My mom's 50 plus years old, and she made one of the biggest transformations I've ever seen in my life. And it completely opened my eyes to what's possible and what's not based on certain age, let's just say age frames, right? And it's just never too late. It's never too late to be great. It's never too late to make those adjustments necessary that are going to bring you that internal peace, that are going to make you happy within. Strawberry Polka Dot said, I need to stop procrastinating. That's one thing I have a major issue with. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, like, I'll probably say, and I don't even know, this is just a guess, but probably 9 out of 10 people, I feel like just the population in general, have a problem with procrastinating. That's just how common I personally feel like it is. And it's huge, but what it boils down to me, and this isn't even always necessarily the case for a lot of people, but how bad do you want it? I just try to simplify life, and it's like, if you want something, if you truly desire to get things done, I'll never understand how procrastination comes in to the picture. But that's also why I don't do things last minute. I don't know your current, position, Strawberry Polka Dot, but some people just gotten by like that their entire lives procrastinating. And, I've seen people be successful doing it too. It's just never really been a part of, my character and who I was. But, we all have things that we can work on. And if this is something that you truly feel the need to break free from, then I would say the first step is acknowledging that a problem exists, like you already have. And then 2, just asking yourself, how bad is it that you want it? Because if you want to stop procrastinating, just like you want to get up and you want to enjoy your time with your friends and your family, and you go make a conscious decision to do those things, you will stop doing it. The reason why so many people don't attack certain traits that they may have that they may not like, in your case, procrastination, is because they just feel like they have to be all in or all out, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is that you have to give yourself credit for the baby steps that you're taking as well. Not everything has to be significant up front. You just being aware is also huge, because some people won't even be able to admit that. Whether it's pride, ego, I don't know. Some people wouldn't be able to even admit that and say it out of their mouths. But I would just say take it one step at a time. Start very small with your daily routine. If you know that you tend to procrastinate doing A, B, and C, then eliminate 2 things out of your daily routine that helps you get a step closer to being more proactive. And what I've done personally, because I used to procrastinate a little bit, I guess you consider it that. I had a PS5, and I recently got rid of it probably 3 months ago, and I got rid of it simply because it was nothing more than a distraction. It was getting in the way of my overall productivity. So when I was conscious of that, I removed the one thing that was hindering my growth. So in your case, I would just obviously diagnose yourself in the sense of what it is that you tend to allow to pull your energy or attention, and then go at that thing. Go specifically at that, whether it's social media, whether it's friends, family, whatever it is, you need to attack that. But yeah. I feel like one of the problems that I have in my life is I just move too fast. I just move too fast for my own good sometimes. Sometimes I be having to tell myself like it's okay to slow down. It's okay to be at peace. It's okay to just sit in this form of true solitude and be content with the life that you've had and the life that you're building for yourself. Once again, it ties into that direction. It ties into, speed not necessarily always being a good thing. Yeah. But today, man, is gonna be a quick one. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all for joining the live today. I need to have some sort of better little setup. As you can see, I'll just do it right here I'm sitting in a chair in the kitchen, just vibing, do my little mental health check-ins, and I leave it at that. But I appreciate y'all so much. I love y'all. You know, like I said, I dropped the video. Actually, pause on that. Strawberry Polka Dot just said something, and I'm gonna go back and forth with her for a little bit. But let me get to her. She said, I work from home and want to start working on my furniture refurbishing and paint business on the side. I need to get started. What's stopping you from getting started, Strawberry Polka Dot? I know that you work from home, so you have the convenience factor there. It has to be a benefit. It works in your favor. But what's truly stopping you from getting started? And another key thing that you should ask yourself too is, I know you said you want to start that, and I remember you speaking on that furniture refurbishing and paint stuff a while ago on one of my first lives. So is that something that you're genuinely passionate about? Is that something that you actually want to do? Mm, okay. She said, I feel like I'm drained from my work from home job. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah. So what's going on here, obviously, is that you have something that is probably your main source of income that takes majority of your time and energy. And then the leftover energy you probably have to use to take care of your everyday life stuff in order to recharge for the next day at work. So that makes a lot of sense. So if I were in this position, and this is all you really can do, because you can't shy away from from the thing that actually pays the bills. Your at-home job is definitely going to take up majority of your time regardless, and it's not something that you're going to stop doing. But the true passion probably comes from the other things that you mentioned that you want to pursue. You gotta implement it in. I know that you tired from your regular job, your at-home job. But the only way that something's going to change is if something changes. It doesn't have to be big. I know that you may want to go all in, or you may want to do both. Maybe even try to start one if you can. Start it on the weekends. Start it when you're not working. I don't know if you have a family or whatever you may have, but just start small, because it's going to make you feel much better that you started rather than just having it on your mind and not starting it at all. When I first started sewing a while ago, I didn't have all the resources, and I didn't even feel like I had the time that I needed to do it. but I started extremely small. And then as you build and you work, you eventually get momentum and everything just starts to take off. And it's going to be a perfect balance too when you do start, because you'll be tied into one thing that brings you money, the income that pays your bills, which is the at-home job. And then your true passions and desires, such as the paint and the furniture refurbishing, that's going to give you that feeling of direction that you need, that we've been talking about. That's where the true passion is. It's going to make you feel more complete. It's all about balance. That's all life is about. You can do each and every last one of those things. It's just about balance. And I honestly believe that it's going to help you whenever you do start it. It's going to help you. It's going to make you feel more recharged. It's going to make you feel better about yourself, because you're working to things that actually mean something to you. Things that you know that you want to do with yourself. This kind of reminds me of the time when I was in school for nursing, and I graduated, I think, over a year ago. But nursing was not something that I was passionate about. I knew that they make good money, and I knew that it was a good career choice, but my true passions came from things like this. And I'll never forget when I put nursing on hold to do this YouTube thing. I still had other things that I had aligned, but this is what gave me that true sense of direction and passion and purpose for my life. You can multitask, you can do whatever it is that you need to do, but your main attention and your main focus, no matter what, for yourself within you, has to be on the things that provide you value in a sense. Start your painting business. Do what you need to do as far as the furniture refurbishing, but it's gonna have to be done. And the longer that you wait, it's just more time that you're wasting. More time. One thing that I feel like is very important not to shy away from as well, especially in cases like yours, is that it's okay to be tired. It's okay to be drained. It's okay to not feel like doing it. But when you do it, and really remember this, when you do it, you're going to feel that sense of courage and just strength like never before, because you did something at a moment where the world or the universe was telling you to go in the opposite direction. It was telling you not to do it. It was telling you, I'm tired. Let me lay down. Let me watch a movie. Let me take a nap and go to sleep. When you actually do what you need to do, especially at moments like this, it's going to hit so much different, because you know that you didn't feel like it. You know that you may not have felt like you had the resources or even the time. All you can do is start. Everything else will come exactly when it needs to come. But you got to start building as soon as possible, because that's the only thing that's going to put you in a position to fully transition out of what it is that you're doing and getting into the things that you actually truly want to do with your life. At some point, no matter who you are, we all get to a stage where we have to transition. We transition from the things that make us money into the things that are ultimately our purpose and make us feel whole within. That can also come with, being resourceful. Like, you can still get money from those things, but that transition has to happen. It's like somebody going from working at McDonald's into being an entrepreneur. There's still benefits financially from both of those things, but I'm pretty sure they don't have a deep burning desire to be working in fast food. Yeah. She said, thank you. It's definitely time for me to make and incorporate the time, for sure. And you're probably somebody like me that believes that, certain steps have to be significant, or else you may not feel like they're worthwhile. But I promise you, if you just take it one day at a time and just do what you can, whether it's research, whether it's just doing the very small things, starting off with one furniture piece at a time, and even if it takes you weeks to get on it, just that one step will make you feel so much better because you got started. Getting started is literally the hardest part for so many people because they're in their head. They're thinking about the what if. They're thinking about, oh, I don't have time. I may not have the energy. It's not going to work. And then they don't do it. That's literally the hardest part, is getting started. But once you finally start, you'll realize that you could have and you should have started a long time ago. It's not about being perfect. It's just about getting the ball rolling. The rest will come exactly when it needs to come. I promise you. Exactly. Yeah. And it happens. We all go through it. I told you a little bit about, what I went through. That was probably like a little over a year ago when I first put that nursing thing on hold to focus on things that I was actually more passionate about. And truthfully, I don't regret it. I don't regret it. I'm not making a single dollar from YouTube at this very moment. And I have zero regrets, just simply based on the process, the things that I've learned along the journey. And you're going to have this same feeling once you finally do get that ball rolling. When you transition from, just doing your at-home job to doing the things that you're truly passionate about, you're going to have the same exact feeling. And you're not going to regret it because you know that jobs like the one that you have are probably always going to be there. But how long are the opportunities that you may have as far as your painting business and the other thing that you want to do going to be there? Times change. So the market, everything may shift. People's interests and dislikes, whatever, it just constantly changes. So you just have to just work on that form of procrastination. But we all have things that we have to work on, and it's really just about understanding that take it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time, man. When I start doing that, my life completely changed. Like, one day at a time. That's all you need to do. And you'd be surprised how much of a difference that makes, because the burden of tomorrow is way too much to carry when you have problems of the day. I know there's a saying or a quote that's similar or somewhere along that, but the burdens of tomorrow are just too much. But when you can focus on today and what you're going to do today at this very moment to get results, that's where the real success comes in at. But next time I get live, or next time I go live, I would hope probably in 3-4 weeks. I really do hope and I pray that you at least is a step closer to making that happen. I'm not gonna say you just started and everything just already going, but I would hope and I would pray that you kind of got the ball rolling because you deserve it. I'm pretty sure you work hard, and what you're doing right now is already taking up all of your energy. So why not pour into the things that are gonna make you feel, more purpose driven? Why not? Of course. No, you already know. And that's one thing that I love about life, is because, man, just we really do have free will. Just the concept of being able to wake up and do what you want is just such a blessing. And when you start pouring into the things that are going to make you feel whole within, you're just going to be much more happier, much more at peace. And you're going to feel the difference. Because I had this same thing happen to me. I used to be in work mode. I used to be in what pays the bills and kind of be stuck in that type of mindset. But I started to transition away from that, man, and I never looked back, and I still haven't looked back. And that's really what it's about. But if you made it to the end of the live, man, I just wanted to say thank you so much. It's your boy Blue Jay Tay. I love and I appreciate y'all. Once again, I dropped a video for y'all on your attention is your most valuable currency. If you haven't watched it, go view that for me. But, once again, I love y'all, man, and I'll see y'all on the next live in a couple weeks. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.